People say God made man, but maybe it was the other way around. When thunder cracked and crops failed, when the nights grew too long and too silent, we needed something to talk to, something bigger, something listening. At our core, we are animals, built to run, to hide, to fight, to survive. But unlike anything else alive, we imagine. And that imagination didn't just invent tools or language, it invented meaning. We began to ask questions no other species would ever ask. Why am I here? What happens when I die? Is anyone watching? And when no answer came back, we created one. We gave the wind a name. We gave the stars a purpose. We gave silence a voice, because not knowing was unbearable. What we fear isn't just death. It's that everything ends without reason, that we loved for nothing, that we suffered for nothing, that it all meant nothing. So we told ourselves a story, a good one, a story where there's justice after injustice, where the lost are found again, where someone, somewhere, keeps the score. That story gave us comfort. It gave us rules. It gave us God. Because in a world where bad things happen to good people, a system of divine justice was the only thing that made the pain bearable. Without belief, there was only chaos, and chaos is terrifying. So we built structure, we wrote commandments, we painted heavens and carved out hells. We turned morality into ritual and called it faith, not to control people, but to coordinate them. Belief wasn't just about truth, it was about unity. A society with a shared God was stronger than one without, because it meant shared values, shared purpose, and shared consequences. God became the mirror we held up to ourselves, to feel watched when we were alone, to feel guided when we were lost, to feel judged when no one else was looking. And then we passed it on, generation to generation, fathers to sons, mothers to daughters, not as myth, as truth. We forgot that we invented the story, forgot the fear that started it. We were born into a house with walls already built, rules already written, a name for God already chosen, and we were told this is the right one, this is the only one. Everyone else is wrong, but geography decides belief more often than truth. Most people believe whatever their parents did, not because it's proven, but because it's familiar. But here's the quiet truth. No one knows, not the priest, not the scientist, not the monk, not the man on the mountain. We all just inherited a story and tried to make it fit. And still, in hospital beds and war zones, at funerals and in final breaths, we reach out to something. We don't ask it for proof. We ask it for mercy. That's not weakness. It's the most human thing about us. So why did we invent God? Because we had to. Because the world is brutal, short, and confusing. Because a child without a parent looks for a hand. Because a dying man needs more than silence. Because we weren't made to carry this alone. God became the answer to a question we couldn't stop asking. Not because it was right, but because it was necessary. We weren't trying to explain the universe, we were trying to survive it. God, then, is not just a deity. God is a doorway, a reflection, a cry in the dark, hoping someone, anyone, hears it. Even now, in the age of science and certainty, the question remains, not because we need a God, but because we need a reason to keep going. We map the human genome, send probes to the edge of space, split atoms, train machines to think, and still, we whisper prayers in dark rooms, Still, we search for meaning, not in proof, but in purpose. Because facts can't explain grief, equations don't comfort the dying, and no microscope has ever seen a soul. So maybe we don't ask because we lack knowledge. Maybe we ask because deep down, we know knowledge isn't enough. And that question we keep asking, the one with no answer, is what makes us human. And in the end, maybe it wasn't about finding answers. Maybe it was about not being afraid to ask, even when no one answered back, even when all we heard was silence. We kept asking, because questions are how we stay awake in a world that rarely makes sense.